Alright guys, so this is where the magic happens. Actually, there's really not a whole lot that goes on here other than me cramming it full of as much shit as I can possibly fit in here. This is my apocalypse storeroom, as I like to call it, the stuff room, because it really doesn't sound as crazy, you know? Stuff room, apocalypse. You decide. You know, when people ask what's behind the door, I have to say something. So, anyways, lucky for me, I have a house with only 2 people in it. So it's a 4-bedroom. So I have a room that I can dedicate to cramming full of all sorts of, hopefully, useless stuff. You know, I say hopefully because if I had my way, I'd rather never have to use most of this stuff. But it's here, so it makes me feel a lot better. And anyways, yeah, that's it. I may show you guys a few things in here later in different videos, but that's all I have for now. This is all you get. So you're just going to have to wonder what's in the rest of it. You know, what's in these things back here? Could be anything. You don't know. That's pretty cool stuff, but anyways, that's for another video. What I want to talk about today is gardens, and specifically shit-hit-the-fan gardens, or survival preparedness gardens. And the reason I'm doing this in here is because it's raining outside, so I didn't want to stand around in the mud. So sue me. But I've seen a lot of videos, which is a good thing, about people doing their gardens and making gardening and just raising food in general part of their preparedness plans, which is awesome. You know, that's one of the best things you can do. And too many people focus on just stocking up when why can't I think of the word? Self-sufficiency is really what I think people should be going after, because a lot of the problems that are facing the country today are things that could cause, you know, food disruptions or food costs to soar for a lot longer than just the 6 months or a year that people have stored food for. And many people don't even have a year's worth of food. I don't have a year's worth of food. I have about 6 months worth of food. And I can envision a lot of things happening that would make food hard to get for longer than 6 months. You know, so making gardening and self-sufficiency a priority, I think, is a huge deal, because the world's going to be different in 10 or 20 years. And I mean, that's it. You want to be able to get as much food for yourself and as much of your own problems taken care of by yourself as possible. And that'll make you a lot less dependent on anything else. So anyways, but to get into the meat of the video, I'm already rambling. One of the problems that I've seen with a lot of people for their videos is, well, not the videos specifically, but what their plan for their shit-hit-the-fan garden is that they're still using like store-bought items, and they're still relying on the supply chain. And if you're just gardening for a hobby or just to do it to learn, that's okay, but the whole point of gardening is to be self-sufficient. So if I'm going to go to the store to buy dirt and to buy fertilizer and to buy little pegs to stake up my beans, I'm still relying on the store. So why can't I just cut out the 6 months of work and go buy the dang beans to begin with? You know what I mean? If I'm going to rely on the store one way or the other, I'm going to do it the way that doesn't require me to bust my ass for, you know, an entire growing season. So that's a potential problem with a lot of people's plans. Now, I know you could argue that, you know, everyone's going to empty the shelves of the real food, or if the real food becomes hard to get, you'll still maybe be able to buy the gardening supplies too. But just like the people who say they're going to run out in the woods and shoot deer and quail and whatever when the shit hits the fan, everyone else is going to be doing that too. And if food's hard to get at the grocery store, you're not going to be the only one who decides it may be a good idea to plant a garden. And even though you'll probably be better at it than all these people who've never done it before, they're still going to be clogging up the Walmarts and the Lowe's, buying up all the gardening equipment and all the little bags of dirt. So if the whole point is self-sufficiency, focus on self-sufficiency. Focus on not needing things from the store. Focus on compost for your dirt. Focus on vermicomposting. Focus on growing indigenous things that are natural to your area. You know, trees. This is what I always tell people to do, is plant fruit trees that are native to your area, that will grow in your area, because you can get dozens if not hundreds of pounds of produce or fruit off of a single tree every year, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to water it, maybe a little bit of pruning here and there or something like that, but that's it. I mean, you stick it in the ground and it grows. We have orange trees all around here in Florida, and I mean, they're not the most nutritious thing ever, but you get hundreds of pounds of oranges off each tree like every year. Peaches grow around here, and it doesn't have to be a tree, but things like blueberries, blackberries, stuff that grows naturally in your area is a good thing to focus on, because you don't have to water it really. It's used to growing with the natural precipitation for your area. You don't have to protect it from all the local pests and stuff that it's not used to. They're used to growing in the area, so they've developed and survived because they're not bothered by those things. So plants that naturally grow in your area excuse me, are what you want to focus on. And other than that, I mean, you still got to grow other things that don't necessarily occur indigenously, but focus on a sustainable gardening set, you know what I mean, or a set of skills. So you try to limit the amount of things that you're buying from the store, because if you're dependent on the store for your fertilizer and for your chicken feed or for your gardening tools, and every year you have to go to store or else you can't have a garden, then you're no more well prepared than the guy who has to go to the store to get his food, because you're still dependent on the stores. So that's what you want to break. You're not trying to break a dependency from food per se. You're trying to break a dependency from having to go to the store for everything you need. So it's definitely possible. It's going to take a lot more work, and it's going to be more difficult without having the Miracle Grow and all the easy ways to do it. But that's why it's important to start now and learn how to do it now, because when you can afford to make some few mistakes and have a bit of a learning curve, you don't want to have to learn when your meals depend on whether you get this right or not the first time you're doing it without going to Lowe's. So that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think, and if you guys have specific plans for gardening and producing food without going to the store. And this isn't just for gardening, this goes for animals too, like chickens. I mentioned chicken feed. If you're dependent on the store for your chicken feed, that's no different than being dependent on the store for your own feed. It's actually worse, because not only do you have to buy the chicken food, then you have to feed the chickens and raise them without something bad happening, and then get the food from them. So it's like you're adding extra steps into this process that still starts at the store, and that's what you don't want to rely on. So, I mean, obviously you may have to buy some things from the store, but you want to stock up. I have some videos on like soldier grubs, raising them. That's great for chicken feed or fish feed. If you don't have good soil in your area, you should look into aquaponics. That's something you can have almost completely cut off from the outside world and grow stuff with even in the worst of soils. In Australia, it's a big deal. They're using it all the time because it's such a harsh environment, low precipitation, dry soil, stuff like that. So it's really one of the things that they're using to cut dependency on external supplies needed for raising food. And so, like I said, let me know what you guys think about that, and what your experiences have been with trying to break the chains from dependency on the system. Alright guys, that's all I got for now. Peace.